So this is to share about my experience of doing Anahu chanting. To give you the backstory, when I was living in London in the 1980s, a fellow minister and I used to get together every so often to chant for 15 minutes together. And it was amazing. We'd have issues or things that we were dealing with or whatever was going on. But after 15 minutes of chanting the Anahu, whatever had been bothering us just didn't exist anymore. We lifted above it, or the chant took it away, whatever happened. It was amazing. We also took the chant to a local church in Piccadilly. We went into the bell tower and chanted there, and there was also a cafe attached to the church. And one time there was something like 20 people chanting, so it was really lovely. And people came who had no other spiritual. They were Christian, obviously, because the church was an Anglican church. But it doesn't, with the chant, it doesn't matter what the religion is, or if there isn't one. It transcends religion. It's just Anahu, empathy and compassion and God. Ancient Sanskrit is so simple. So there's nothing to believe or try and challenge. It's just a sound. And yet so powerful a sound. In 1991, I traveled to the south of France to live here, which is where I am now. And there was no ministerial community, but I started just gathering people together to chant. I lived in a village called Turatsulu, which is inland from Nice. And for a period of time, 6 of us got together and chanted for 1 hour on a Wednesday evening. It was kind of a regular spot we did. And it was delightful. One couple in their, I think, 70s or 80s, 70s, certainly late 70s, and they loved it. The wife was at first very shy about chanting. So, I don't have a voice. But eventually she really got into it. And she was delightful. Well, the chant those evenings were amazing. We always slept well afterwards. So we did a chant, which obviously is a spiritual focus, and then we just chatted about life. And it seemed that things that we'd been working through, actually one of those things was trying to find a new way of hearing or getting satellite TV from England. And that was a key point of discussion for some weeks, and eventually a solution came. I mean, it was just ordinary life. But the experience of the chant was always really lovely, and we slept well afterwards. So not all together, but in our different homes we did. That was the effect of the chant. It helped us to, on the one hand, relax, and on the other hand, energize us. And that's part of the beauty of the chant. It's really coming into that, I suppose, one accord, the oneness with who we are. And then I moved eventually to Cannes in 2008, and I brought groups together to chant in homes in Monaco and in Nice, and my own home in Cannes, which is where I am now. And yes, I have a list of about 50 people that I mail to when I'm scheduling a chant. I usually ask people to let me know so that if they're coming, so that I make sure that we don't start before they arrive. I also invite people to bring friends, that friends are always welcome. And I also invite people, if they are not coming, to send contributions for blessings of light. I'll come to that in a moment. So when we gather, I call on the light for the highest good. And then I invite everyone to say their name and any people or situations that they'd like to place in the light for the highest good. So we get a chance to do that. It brings everyone into the room in a really sweet way. And then I call in the light again, and I ask that all of the people or situations, anything that we've placed in the light, be blessed with the light for the highest good. And I also ask that our hearts may be open to receive any of the blessings that are here for us, and that we may release and let go of anything of a negative nature, that it be taken into the highest realms of light and there be dissolved and transmuted. And then we chant for an hour. I advise people, or I suggest to people, that we aim for harmony. But even if there isn't a harmony, it's better, if they're not confident, make a sound anyway. Because with practice, you just get used to it. I also say to people, if they want to cough, don't worry about that, to cough, because it could be clearing energy. And that's my sense with the chant. It clears energy on all levels. So I do encourage people to just keep going, as indeed quite often I find I need to cough. It's clearing my own energy. If they don't feel like chanting, they can always listen, chant inwardly. It's really up to them. Or just bathe in the energy. that's really fine. So after an hour of chanting, I just kind of make the sound come quieter, and then we have a few moments just to be in the quiet of the energy that's being created. It's so beautiful. It's just really peaceful. And I look around. If people are still very much in the meditation state, then I don't bring them around. But eventually, I use a Tibetan singing bowl to bring people back into the room. And still, we have just quiet time. People just don't feel like talking very often. They're just assimilating and receiving what the chant has brought for them. I love that outside is the Mediterranean. I'm on the beach here. And I love that we're sending the light to the light column, which is over the whole Mediterranean. I call it the Sea of Peace. And then, of course, my city, Cannes, and the whole of France, but we extend the light all over the world. And then after, when people have come back into this space, then we have tea, tisane, which is like herbal teas, biscuits, but often cakes. There are some amazing cake makers here. So chocolate cake, sometimes cakes are vegan because there are some people who come who are vegan. Carrot cake, just they're amazing. The French and their food. Well, people are not all French who come here. There are many nationalities. But anyway, people kind of get the flavor for the food down in France, I think. And so it's a beautiful experience, as I have found over the years. And it's simple. It doesn't challenge people's beliefs. It's just Anai Hu. So this doesn't mean anything that people have to try and believe about. And I don't talk about the spiritual background from the Anai Hu. They just have the experience of it, which seems to be the thing that really matters in the end, that they get to participate and receive for the highest good, whatever the light can bring to them. So it's just a real gift, and I absolutely love it. So if you are in Cannes on a Sunday evening at 7 p.m., just check that it's Sunday that's it's scheduled. Please come and join us. It's a real joy, and I'm sure you'll love it. And that's all I have on the Anai Hu chant.